Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be, across the nation or around the world. My name is Shane Squark, and on behalf of SFX.com Small Business Solutions, I am pleased to welcome you back to another episode of our semi-weekly small business technology tips. And in an effort not to bore you all with back-to-back monologues and send you back to watching Netflix documentaries about wacky Tiger Kings, I decided to kind of switch things up a little bit here and bring on some other entrepreneurs to kind of sit down and share some stories with you, share some advice with you that you guys can really leverage to expand your own businesses. Today, I'm joined by Lisa Marie Falbo, and if you recognize her name, it's probably because you've seen her and some of the many collaborations we've done together with her company, Long Shot Productions, or because you've seen her on your local television on HIP New Jersey. Lisa is an accomplished video editor, producer, director, and entrepreneur. Lisa, I am very glad you could be here with us today. It's kind of a little bit of a role reversal from how we normally sit down together.
Exactly. I'm really excited about this, and you're a really good hype man.
Yeah, I usually typically when I do my interviews, I'm not on video with somebody else. So, a little bit bashful when I'm talking and I see you staring back at me kind of giggling the entire time. But it's if you listen to any of the webcasts I've done, that's the typical spiel. So some people are used to it, I suppose. But yeah, can you share a little bit of it?
I'm in your position all the time. You know what I mean? So I'm usually giving introductions. So
it's got to feel very weird for you to just kind of, take a back seat to all this stuff, huh?
Yeah, it is weird when you get interviewed, when you're the interviewer. But it's nice because you learn about what the interviewee maybe goes through, psychologically and sitting for an interview. So how to calm their nerves, I think, a little better.
So you're normally the interviewer. Give people a little bit of a background on what you're actually doing. You have a whole lot of roles, Long Shot Productions, HIP New Jersey. What do you do? What's your roles? What are these companies sort of, where's their place in the world?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have owned Long Shot Productions for now over 10 years, which I cannot believe. I started in 2009 when the economy was kind of mirroring what we're going through right now, but for totally different reasons because we've never been in a situation like we've been before now, ever. But I started Long Shot because I recognized at the time that everything was going digital. So I didn't need to be bound to working for a big company. I didn't need to work myself up a corporate ladder. I can just buy my own video camera, my own editing software, and just be creative. And that's what I did. So when I started Long Shot, I started with the intention of actually producing a show for myself. I called it In the Zone with Lisa Marie Latino. It was an online show where I would go to red carpet movie premieres and galas and athlete events. And it did really well. I filmed like 10 episodes. And why it stopped is because I needed to make money and people were coming at me with opportunities to create videos for their own media platforms.
From Seeing in the Zone?
Excuse me?
From Seeing in the Zone?
From Seeing in the Zone, yeah.
Wow,
because
that's awesome.
It was a half-hour show and people were appreciating, I guess, not only the access that I was getting, but the quality of the video. So I would get hired from all kinds of industries who were making these things called websites back in the day. And they wanted video for what they called SEO, it was all these new terms.
Yeah. Who would have thought they would have caught on?
Yeah. I mean, there was no Instagram at the time. It was just Facebook, really. Twitter was just catching on and there was no LinkedIn. So people were starting to get that digital was the way to go. So I would do all of their, website videos. We came together very early on in Long Shot's journey because a company that you were working for called the MTA, now the CMT Association, needed video for their conference. And that obviously opened up a world of opportunity, which I'll get to. So that's how I started Long Shot. I started in my parents' guest room. Thank you.
Yeah, wow. That's where it all starts. Everyone thinks that this whole, stay-at-home pandemic is an issue, but I think I posted a meme I found on the internet the other day. It's like Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, like all these major tech companies started it at home and in somebody's garage or their living room. So, it's just kind of a word to the wise to everyone out there. You can start with your own video camera and a couple, 30-minute episodes is that's incredibly ambitious. I would have never even thought to do that at the time, but as simple as 10 episodes. So it didn't take you a whole lot of time really to put something together and look where it's kind of led you, but 10 years down the road, right?
10 years.
Yeah.
And, it's just so, for example, I'll use our example. We were friends before even businesses through mutual friends that are very special to us, I guess is a way to put it.
Oh, they're special. Yeah, for sure.
They're very special people. But, we networked and, the CMT opportunity came about. I mean, fast forward now, CMT is still a client of mine. We're still working on the symposiums together.
Yeah.
But through doing that and that consistency, because that's the number one thing I think with entrepreneurship is the consistency factor.
Sure.
Because it's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy to get frustrated when things aren't happening as quick as you want them to or think that they're supposed to. But if you keep at it, it will happen.
Right.
So using this as an example, we would film the symposiums at a place called Convene. And I would go to Convene once a year. And, year 3, I was like, hey, do you guys do video to the conference center?
Right.
And they're like, well, people bring in their own, we don't do it, but people bring in. And I remember giving my card and saying, well, if you ever need video, let's talk, let's partner. Another few years went by. One day I get a call from one of the tech managers who got promoted to Convene corporate. Hey, we need a video production partner.
Wow,
let's
that's great.
Down, let's figure out. I'm like, okay. So we sat down, we figured it out. I'm like, what's the catch? And they're like, there is no catch.
That's great.
And 2 years later, Longshot is the video production partner for all of Convene New York City's events. Wow. They have 14 conference centers. So when anybody
you guys are now the video partner for all 14.
For all 14.
That's incredible. Just a little bit of networking.
All 14. So
wow.
Thanks to you. Thanks to
wow.
CMT.
I can't take credit for that.
No,
it's the work
but
you guys did.
It's
the work you guys did for sure. Yeah. The quality of the product.
You. But those are the steps along the way. Yes, you have to obviously put in the quality of work, but
of course.
The network, get the work, maintain the work, and then look where it can lead. So for over 2 years now, whenever somebody comes in and needs video, they outsource to Longshot.
Oh, it's incredible.
And, sometimes we could have 4 shoots going on in one day because conference centers act independently from one another.
Right.
So, that's just an example of how important all of those elements are for business.
Well, the consistency, that point you bring up, a lot of people probably don't realize, but when I first kind of ventured off my own and SFX became a real thing, I had reached out to you as sort of one of my mentors and one of the people I kind of sought advice from because you were doing this before me. And that was one of the things you hammered down to me way back, it's probably been almost 10 years for me too, maybe a little less, maybe closer to 8 that I've been doing this really full time. But yeah, you said at that time, consistency is key, just stick with it. And there's certainly going to be some rough patches along the lines and, business will be slow some days and super busy the next, and just trying to kind of find a little bit of balance in between that and leveling it yourself. So that advice obviously has worked really well for me and a lot of the other advice you've kind of provided over the years. For other new businesses or somebody kind of looking to jump into this for the first time, be it a digital business or a retail business or anything in between, you've got a lot of experience working with small business owners and entrepreneurs. What kind of advice would you share with them on taking that next step?
You have to be insanely passionate about what it is that you're doing. You could have an idea and, proceed to attack it in like a lukewarm manner, and that's never going to work. I mean, you have to be living, breathing, thinking about your business 110% of the time.
Yeah.
And yes, that's hard. I mean, we started our businesses when we weren't married and when we didn't have kids and all of that and a house and everything else. So it was a little easier for us. But even if, you're starting at a place where you have those responsibilities, you can't forget about the business. You just can't do it part-time because I've seen people do that and it never goes anywhere. And then they complain, well, why isn't going anywhere? And it's like, well, you just can't dedicate a day a month to it. So I think the underlying factor in why people approach it from that way is because they weren't wildly passionate about it. Right. So if you're not passionate, I wouldn't even start.
Yeah, I think you hit on another great point there. Is like a lot of people I think have this misconception, or I shouldn't say that, not a lot of people. I think people that don't own a business have a misconception that if you're your own boss, you sort of all of a sudden have all this extra free time and you can kind of do whatever you want. And, oh, that's okay. You're the boss. Just take some time off. And that's really, I mean, especially it seems like that's what you're saying too. That couldn't be further from the truth. You have to put in all this
Absolutely.
extra effort. People don't, I think, really appreciate that sometimes, that it's not just, service-based businesses like what we're doing. If you own a retail shop or you own a restaurant, you're in there hours before the store opens and you're in there hours after it closes because you have to get ready for the next day. It goes with any business. So I'm glad you bring that up because I think sometimes people think I'm a little insane when I tell that to them.
No, and you want to know, so we're talking right now during this quarantine, the COVID-19 crisis, and in doing these Zoom interviews, I actually had this conversation with another one of my guests that
Mm-hmm.
this crisis is showing people what the life of an entrepreneur is like in a lot of ways,
Great point.
because people are trying to think of creative ways on how to pass their time. They're trying to think about, all right, how do I pivot into this new situation from my old routine? And that's what entrepreneurship is all about, because it's daily you're being barraged with distractions and questions, and because you're the top, right? You're the head, you're the president. And
Right.
if you have people working for you, they're coming to you. It's like having little kids that need things to do. They have questions. So all of a sudden now, in a way, everybody is learning the entrepreneur lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah. I never really thought about it like that, but that makes a lot of sense for sure. I was just happy people are starting to embrace the internet a little bit more with remote meetings and websites,
That too.
Oh,
That's
I've been hammering that for years. Like there's no reason for us to spend, an hour commuting to a meeting. We can do this on a video and the whole thing could be over
so
in
happy.
15 minutes. Um,
Yeah. And because I think people, I mean, obviously I know people they have fear being in front of the camera, my hair,
yeah,
my makeup. Well, guess what?
of course.
Nobody has their hair and makeup, done during this quarantine because we're all at home, and who
Yeah.
cares? Like,
Yeah.
this is real life. I'm
Yeah.
just so
Yeah.
happy that this is showing people, like, it doesn't have to be a smoke and mirror show all the time.
Right.
Like, there's coolness in being this raw and gritty.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think we've sort of seen that trend a little bit with like emails, right? I was talking to a marketing team with another company I've worked with that we both worked with in the past, back maybe a year or two ago. And we sort of moved away from that really formal tone in emails where it's, every word is a big word and everything is so formal. And it became more of like a personal email. And the whole pitch of the email was like as if you're talking to your friend or your buddy. And it seemed to draw more people in because when you took away the professional of the email, it didn't seem so cookie cutter. And people really responded to that. Event registrations went up. More people would open the email. More people would click through. Now you're kind of parlaying that over into this video. And I think you said in one of your interviews that, you're walking into somebody else's living room in most cases, and you're sort of getting this more personal element from them, and it allows you to connect with people, I think on a little bit of a deeper level. It's not so much, I'm wearing a suit and a tie and I'm going to be my best behavior and give you this highlight reel of who I am. It's now you got people zipping around in the background, their kids banging on a drum set, like, a room next door. It's pretty neat. It's different. Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, and I think for especially like mothers with young kids that are maybe a little tepid, like dipping back into the workforce because, well, how can I work when I have my kid running around?
Yeah.
People are understanding of that. And I mean, I've always known that just because I'm exposed to so many different people across so many crazy situations. But, the typical, I think, corporate person that's a little more buttoned up in their job, maybe that's like throwing them for a whirl. But I think it's all for the good. I would love it if all of my meetings can be like this now.
Yeah.
That, to your point, if I didn't have to waste time driving in the car, just hop on Zoom, do the meeting, and then go about my day. We waste so much time commuting.
We do. And I'm
So
hoping
maybe
that
this is helping us manage time better. That's
yeah.
why.
And I think if enough people push for it and just say, this is what I've got. This is the only thing I can do now. Everyone knows how to use a video now, a video meeting. Maybe that'll become the new norm. Segueing kind of into some of your client base, I'm sure you deal with people all the time, especially now when people are kind of, using your word, turning their creative wheel a little bit, trying to figure out what they can do. What are some common mistakes you're seeing people do, or what are some common mistakes, even before this whole COVID pandemic, that you've seen people kind of make with, video marketing, any sort of video editing, any sort of video production, or when they come to you and say, hey, Lisa, we need you to record X, Y, Z for us, be it a conference, a commercial, or anything in between. What are some of the things you kind of run into that you're just sort of like, back off and let me take the reins here?
Well, I mean, if you are coming to me with the idea of just getting ideas from me, so then you can turn around and film it yourself with a cell phone, I mean, that's wasting everybody's time, because when you're going to a professional video production company, we're not doing things with a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
There's a studio component, there's lighting, there's editing, there's, high definition, thousands of dollars worth of cameras. And I feel like you're coming to us for a reason, because you want that professional edge, right? Doing it yourself, like DIY video, it just doesn't work if you want to put your brand out there in the best light possible.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you wouldn't do your own accounting yourself. I mean, yes, there's TurboTax, I guess you can do it. Right. I mean, I could barely add 2 + 2, so why would I do that? I'll give my accounting to a professional. Financial, investments in the stock market, which I know you're all about right now with CMT. Why would you do that yourself? You would go to a professional that knows the stock market, that could time out the charts, right?
Right.
That can help you make the best investments possible. So I think with websites, you're not going to build, you can build a website yourself, but it's not going to be optimized for cell phone, for SEO. It's just not going to look right. And I think the same thing goes with video.
So you're definitely seeing a lot of that, because I know for sure I will, in the web space, there's so many, kind of free and cheap competitors out there, be it like a Wix or a Squarespace or like a GoDaddy website builder, which, I tell people all the time, if you just want to get on the internet, it's important, you can go ahead and use that. But there is a difference in quality, obviously, between doing it yourself on your cell phone and then doing it yourself with a video production company. You're seeing a lot of people kind of come to you with their own equipment and say, hey, make this a nice commercial for me.
Exactly. Hey, will you, deduct some money off of your proposal if we use my own camera?
Right.
And the camera could be from, 1999. And it's like, no.
Yeah. You lose a little bit of quality control for that, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then your name's on it too. You don't want to be in a situation where you're putting something out there and then you get terrible feedback back from it because, you couldn't actually control the entire environment. And there's obviously a lot I've learned from you. There's a lot that goes into a good video and outside the camera in terms of, lighting and the backdrop and all that other stuff. And I never thought it was that difficult.
Yeah, the editing and the pre-planning and the post-editing and, and the promotion too. So that is something that's obviously another side of my business that's very important, is the promotion of these videos, which brings me to, I guess, my other entity, HIP New Jersey. So HIP New Jersey was created, actually another story of networking and connecting. One of my first clients when I started Longshot was a boutique PR agency called the HIP Event. The woman that ran the HIP event was named Maria Falzo. And Maria and I came together so I can film her event. She was doing grand openings and brand launches and celebrity appearances, and I was filming all of them and including them on In the Zone, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, wow.
It was also around the time where Jersey Shore and Cake Boss and, just New Jersey reality was the it thing. Kind of not painting New Jersey in the best light. So we decided that between my network of people and her network of people, we have an idea for a really cool show. There was a show on Channel 4 called LXTV. They're still on in some capacity as open house.
Okay.
Basically, it was taking viewers through the hidden gems of Manhattan, where to eat, where to shop.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Celebrities go, real estate, that sort of thing. So we thought, let's take that concept and bring it to the Jersey side.
Right.
So this was 2011. We shot a sizzle reel and we shopped it. We shopped it to the locals, Channel 9, Channel 11, News 12. They all told us, again, get it online, because that's where television was going.
Right.
Plus Jersey, so the New York channels weren't really hopping on a Jersey concept. And we shelved the idea for a year or two because we both got busy with our respective lives and businesses. But when the Super Bowl came here, we decided, you know what, let's launch, let's go. So the summer leading up to the Super Bowl in 2014, we filmed 30 some odd evergreen segments. And we
Wow.
launched the site when the Super Bowl was at MetLife Stadium. And from there, it took off. Why? From my perspective, I was creating video content for people. People were spending thousands in some cases, and the videos would just collect dust on YouTube, get
Right.
2 views, and be done.
Right.
How stupid was that, right? So HIP New Jersey allowed my clients to have a platform to showcase who they were. For Maria, public relations was changing. The outlets were closing or consolidating. There were only so many New Jersey outlets to pitch content to. So from her perspective, let's create our own media platform that we can feature clients on. So that's why HIP New Jersey came to be.
That's awesome.
In a very full circle moment, and again, the whole consistency factor, in 2018, we were approached by a local cable outlet called Hometown Television that wanted HIP New Jersey. So that ignited the whole 30-minute show concept. And
Wow.
we started putting together a monthly half-hour show that, again, showcase New Jersey food, fashion, events, real estate, health and wellness.
And this show's still going on weekly to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's on hiatus right now indefinitely, but
of course, yeah.
the whole world is.
To be expected, sure.
To be expected. From there, another outlet who was going digital called NJ On Air, a man by the name of Gerald D'Ambra approached us. He was the former news director for News 12, and he wanted to take television digitally. So he created NJ On Air with all New Jersey curated content, and the half-hour show also streamed on there, on Roku and wherever major video platforms were sold. The crowning achievement, which is funny that we're doing this interview now because it's super timely, at the end of 2019, we were approached by News 12.
Wow.
Hey, we want your half-hour show for our new channel that we're launching called News 12 Plus. So whoever has News 12 knows the traffic and weather channel, channel 61, where they live loop the traffic and weather and traffic. Now, they're still doing that, but they're taking in outside production. So for the first time in News 12's history. So they approached us, and we decided to launch in April. So we're launching this Saturday, April 4th.
Oh my gosh.
Our first episode is airing. I know what timing. And, on the one hand, yes, what timing? Because everyone is home glued to their TVs. So that's great.
Yeah.
Make a big push.
That's great.
On the other hand, it's during this time, it's hard to film content. It's hard to sell sponsorships. It's hard to get commercials. I'll get to that in a second. But, so the dream is fully realized now that we have, our messaging, this platform mainstream now on, the television brand in the state. And we couldn't be more excited.
That's really incredible. Congratulations. But by the time people see this, it will be Monday. So it'll be a couple days removed from your first episode. Okay. But, that being said, it is on every Saturday. So you can still tune in, and then you can still watch some of the back episodes. So if you don't catch the first episode, obviously, just by coincidence, after you see this, head right on over to hipnewjersey.com. Or what's the NJ12 Plus? Is it just a separate website, or is it straight off their NJ12
they're
website?
Still building out the brand. Actually, before I got on here, they're like, hey, here's our new logo. Can you swap out like everything you've done? I'm like,
oh, wow. Talk about a timeline.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what television and video is. You just roll the punches.
Yeah.
But, but it's, giving a platform to people that otherwise would never. You're going to be on a future episode. We did a whole segment on you, and
that's right. I'll be excited to see myself on TV. That'll be really fun.
Well, you revamped our whole website last year.
Right.
And, we got into that and how that all came to be, and your work-life balance and being a working at home dad while your wife is out working, you're at home with the kids. So, we covered all of that. Who would cover that though
I
on
know
ordinary
it's pretty
TV
cool,
television?
from a business perspective. I obviously don't have the marketing dollars to be putting up Super Bowl ads or to be publishing things on like major broadcasting networks. So having that opportunity to kind of connect with local businesses through another local business is really cool. My clientele, and which I think a lot of your clients are the same way, they're small and typically regional businesses that, it doesn't make sense for them to enter the other markets. Whereas,
No,
Hip New Jersey sort of gives that platform and gives that exposure
exactly.
to all these people, to a target market that's right there. You see somebody
Yeah,
on Hit New Jersey, you can drive there. It's not like you have to get in a plane, and maybe if you're in California for the weekend, you might stop by. You can literally drive there today if you wanted to.
yeah.
So you talked a little bit
And
about your marketing changing, or your advertising, I should say. How is
yeah.
that changing?
So again, you want to be mindful of what's going on. Nobody is spending dollars on marketing right now, big dollars. Nobody is committing to video production or a show sponsorship. So we had to, again, put our entrepreneur hats on and figure out, okay, how can we make it work? How can we get our expenses paid while we're all sitting on the sidelines? So we figured, in the vein of promoting local small businesses, we're giving businesses the opportunity to actually air a 30-second spot on Hip New Jersey. Ordinarily, they wouldn't be able to afford it, or they wouldn't even think to do it. And we certainly wouldn't think to do it this way, but we've opened it up for small businesses to take their cell phone, which I never would want people to do anyway, because I'm, again,
Yeah.
video
After we just
professional
got done
video
telling
with
people
cell
not
phones.
to use your cell phone, now,
Exactly.
guys, is the opportunity where you
Now this is the
can.
opportunity for
So
all
keep
you
that in
people out
mind.
there. Exactly. That wanted to be like, I can't afford any of this, so I'm just going to create my own video. Now is the time. So for $50, we're giving people the opportunity to be part of the shows on News 12 and spreading positivity through their own brand with their cell phone, just giving a shout out to the frontline responders that are, keeping us safe and fed during this crazy time, or giving themselves a platform with how their businesses are giving back. And that's how, we kind of retooled the wheel over here to, get what we need to do done,
Yeah, that's awesome.
get expenses and everything paid for, but also to keeping with the brand, giving back in our own way and giving people that opportunity. So we're really excited about that.
Well, I think it's nice too for the people that might be watching it. If you're a nurse or a doctor and you've just finished a 12-hour shift in the hospital and you're grabbing a quick slice, and then all of a sudden you see a couple commercials on TV, they're kind of, localized and talking directly to you from businesses and brands that probably feels pretty good, and that'll be
Yeah.
nice to see. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Any other tips that you give to new businesses or anyone trying to kind of not necessarily start, a video production company, but maybe somebody that's looking to get some video work done? Again, be it a commercial, if you're having an upcoming event, or if you want to get into this types of stuff, how would you kind of steer people to get that started?
Learn as much as you can about the medium. I am very blessed to have a staff that is equally as passionate about video and television as I am, but in their own different ways. They're constantly coming to me with, oh, look at the newest camera and newest light and the newest, like they get so excited about that. That's not necessarily my wheelhouse, but with video, you need a team, right?
Yeah,
Can't one man band it. You can for a while, but it's just going to crumble
sure.
because there's so many elements to it. So I think just learn everything now, because you might have to go in and do something in a pinch. There's been times when I've had to do camera work in a pinch. So while I'm not really behind the scenes anymore, I need to still know the basics, right? So just don't sit back on your laurels. Just keep evolving, keep learning, keep looking at the trends and keeping up with the times. Very important.
That's excellent advice, Lisa. As always, excellent advice. And I guess that comes with all the years of headaches and experience and successes
I
and
can say it all
failures
back.
too,
And,
Yeah, yeah,
I'll give you another story really
yeah.
quick. Because maybe for a video production company or maybe like a restaurant or something where you need equipment, this story might help somebody out there.
Mhm.
So when I first started Longshot, as you know, I have a great relationship with WFAN. I still
Yeah.
produce for the New York Giants radio broadcast, pregame, halftime, and postgame shows at MetLife Stadium. I pray we have a season this year. I think
You and I
football
both.
is affected, right?
Yeah, you and
The
I both.
world will end if football is affected. You can get by with no basketball or
That's
hockey,
true. That's true.
but
Football, a different story. Yeah.
football is a different animal. But anyway, so so to this day, they were my first internship out of school. They hired me while I was still in school, and to this day, I have a great relationship with all those guys over there. When they found out that I was starting my own company, they wanted to help, which was really, really awesome. So they don't do this campaign anymore, but maybe you remember. They used to do this New York sports rant where they would go to Buffalo Wild Wings locations all around the tri-state area and try out would-be sports talk hosts. Do you remember this campaign?
I don't, but it sounds like something that would be pretty fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, and obviously everybody was lining up to be the next Mike Francesa because, right, everyone thinks that, I could be Joe Benigno.
Be loud and boisterous. Yeah, that's the key to get on there,
And I love sports and okay. So they needed all of these auditions filmed. And they would do these shows from Buffalo Wild Wings where they would have Greg Giannotti, who's now Boomer and Gio, hosting these live shows at Buffalo Wild Wings, and Sal Licata, he's also on the air. And we would have guest judges, Craig Carton at the time, Boomer Esiason, other WFAN talent. And they needed the whole thing filmed. And I said, that's really great. Thank you. But here's the problem. You're looking for a 2-camera shoot with green screen, and you need 5 microphones, wireless microphones, and 5 wired. I don't have any of that. So I don't know. I can't help you. This is what they said. And this was really cool with Buffalo Wild Wings, actually.
Mm-hmm.
How about we pay you in the equipment? We'll get you all of the equipment that you need, and you don't get paid money, but we will get you the second laptop that you need, your editing software, Shane,
that's incredible.
Like $12,000 worth of equipment.
Jesus.
Studio
and think of how much that probably paid its dividends later down the line too, right?
God. I still to this day use the microphones because they were the best. They were the best microphones on the market. Sennheiser.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It was a lot of work, and it was summer of 2010, and it was a lot of hard work and a lot of hustle, and it kind of sucked that it wasn't money in my bank account, but I put in again, and that's where the passion comes in, because not a lot of people I think would take that deal, but I recognized I was never going to get this company to the next level if I didn't take them up on that offer. And it was a really fun time and a really fun campaign, and it's one of my favorite stories to tell because, it just shows too that people will help you.
Yeah.
People will take you under their wing if they see that you are positive and you're working hard, and, they believe in your vision. Like they'll give you a random opportunity like that that'll pay dividends down the line.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. I couldn't agree more. I think a lot of the times when you kind of enter these, especially service-based businesses like yours or mine, you do have to kind of do a couple cheap jobs or free jobs, or just kind of do a little bit of build your portfolio out and network a little bit to kind of get to that point. Because look at all the opportunities you got from there. Not everyone's going to be as fortunate to get a kind of a cash cow like that with all that equipment. That's awesome. Congrats to WFAN and Buffalo Wild Wings. That's awesome.
Yeah, right. I was at the right place at the right time. And listen, during quarantine life, women entrepreneurs, would-be women entrepreneurs will prep you for the early days, because guess what? I wasn't getting my nails done. I wasn't getting my hair done.
You don't have time for that kind of stuff.
Because every dollar I was making was reinvested back into the business. Like I needed gas money. Zoom wasn't a thing at the time. So I actually had to go to meetings in person, and, I needed to just pay for other expenses. So, you kind of have to live, very lean and
just be mindful of your budget. That's all.
Exactly.
The money's going to be tight at first, but it's an investment in yourself in the future, and hopefully, the money's not tight for too long, and kind of make something fun of it.
Yeah.
And it's the adventure too, it's doing something you
Oh,
enjoy. And
entrepreneurship is a great adventure.
oh
The
man,
coolest
it's
thing,
incredible.
no day is exactly the same. Even
That
being
is
in
for sure.
quarantine,
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never not driven my car for more than 2 weeks before.
Right.
But, even being in, my little condo in Jersey City,
Yeah.
every day is different. Every day is an adventure. There's
Yep.
always a new problem to solve. You will never, ever be bored.
No, that is absolutely correct. You are never going to be bored. And if you're bored, you're not doing enough to make some money and figuring out another way you can get yourself busy and kind of grow your business.
Totally.
Lisa, thank you so much for kind of sitting down with me here. Where can
Yeah.
people find you online?
Well, go to hipnewjersey.com because that has everything about the new show. And, if you want a dose of inspiration, I mean, we have featured countless small businesses across all walks of life throughout New Jersey and even beyond. So definitely just check out Hip New Jersey. You could also check out Longshot at longshotprod.tv. You'll see some of our most recent productions there. You could also follow me on social media at Lisa Marie Latino, my maiden name, because that's my stage name I still go with. Because I just got married last year, so for SEO and branding,
it's hard to make that change. People know who you are.
Exactly. So Lisa Marie Latino, but you can
I'll
find
add all these things up on the screen for you. Don't worry.
Yes, absolutely. But Falbo is fine too. I like Falbo.
Okay, great.
And that's it.
Oh, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing what you guys come out with. Again, Hip New Jersey is debuting this Saturday on News 12 Plus. But by the time you guys see this, it'll be the first episode is past, and you can continue to check it out every Saturday. That'll wrap up everything for today. I thank each of you for joining. You can follow me at sfx.com on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media channels, or www.s-fx.com. And hope to see you guys again soon.
If you want to help your business grow, SFX is the only way to go. From SEO and branding to website design, visit s-fx.com.